First in the news, Mary Jane had already said her last words to her family after the Indonesian court decided to push through with her execution. Darlene Basingan will tell us why at the Indonesian Embassy in Makati City, live. Yes, Darlene.
Yes, Diego, the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA has earlier stated the sad truth that the Indonesian government will push through with the execution of the second batch of individuals who are currently on death row. One of them is Mary Jane Veloso. The 72-hour period given to Mary Jane Veloso had already lapsed. This means that anytime from now, Mary Jane will face a firing squad. In a press conference this morning, the DFA said that all legal and diplomatic options to save Mary Jane are now closed. This was announced a day after an Indonesian court denied the second appeal for judicial review filed by the Philippine government for the case of Veloso. The DFA is now waiting for an advice from the Philippine Embassy in Jakarta regarding the exact time of Mary Jane's execution. Philippine Embassy representatives are also set to discuss with the Veloso family the arrangements that will take place after the execution of Mary Jane. Meanwhile, DFA spokesman Charles Jose said that the Philippine government had already did all it can to save the life of Mary Jane from death row. He said the Philippines had repeatedly appealed to Indonesia to spare Mary Jane's life, but it remained firm in its stand to push through with the execution. But despite this, Jose said the case of Mary Jane will not affect the bilateral ties between the Philippines and Indonesia. As of the latest update, the DFA said two sisters of Mary Jane, one of her lawyers, and Consul General Robert Manalo will be on the island where Mary Jane will be executed. According to Jose, Mary Jane had met again with her family this morning and had a lunch with them. He added that she once again thanked President Aquino. Jose adds that one of Mary Jane's last message to her family is not to do anything that would affect the bilateral ties of the Philippines and Indonesia. Diego, meanwhile, various militant groups are still in front of the Indonesian embassy to continue their protests, hoping that President Joko Widodo will still change his mind regarding Mary Jane's case, especially now that the alleged recruiter of Mary Jane has already turned herself into police custody. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Darlene Basingan, live from VFA Pasay City.